Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfside channel. Today with a very special topic. Always special. Is the jungle camp worth it? And that is a very good question. So with my limited experience in the jungle camp, I can really tell you, yes, it's worth it a lot. But this very depends on your guild. This is very guild dependent. Because the jungle camp has no guards in it. So you're basically free for all there. This is also wilderness territory, so you can't even give someone murder counts. So yeah, so everyone in the jungle camp is for himself more or less. And people will kill you there 24/7 if they don't like you. This is basically it. So for solo players, definitely no. If you're playing near the jungle camp, also no. If you're playing a little bit far away from the jungle camp, yes. Then it's dependent if you can have alliances with the guilds in there. Otherwise, you're totally fucked there. You have a lot of books that people need all around the map. You have a lot of animal spawns here and a lot of materials, like for example plate scales, heavy carapace and stuff like that, that you can only get here. Or if you, for example, fishing turtles somewhere else on the map, then you can also get heavy carapace and stuff like that. But here you can get heavy carapace in the whole jungle area, in the west jungle area and in the east jungle area. The jungle camp is more or less in the east jungle area. It's also pretty close to the Sato camp. Sadly, of course, the jungle camp has no end game materials. I'm talking about tungsten, chronite, ocmium and stuff like that. But this is only located in the northeast of the map, so what do you expect? But you could also transport stuff like this down here. Steel production is possible if you can get your hands on kalks, and granum is everywhere anyway, but the problem is also sabura, but this also depends on your location in the jungle. So if you don't need steel, you can use the very good heavy carapace. This is also a very good armor material. The way to the jungle camp is very long, and the most people will ghost there, because sometimes people are also camping there. And the guilds who are territory controlling, who are controlling the jungle camp more or less, sometimes are very friendly ones, sometimes are very rude ones. But most of the time, if you are a friendly player, if you behave yourself, it's okay. It's the same with Galcore. If you behave yourself, if you are cool and talk what you want there and why you are here and what you want to do and stuff like that, most of the times the people understand you and they will kill you anyway. So for a new player, would I recommend the jungle camp? No, of course not. Not in a million years. If you are in a guild that is playing only in the jungle camp or very close to the jungle camp area, then yes. If you're not in such a guild, no. I mean, if you consider playing there constantly, every time you log in, you play there, every time you do shit in the game, you are there. This is what I meant with is it valuable to play there all the time? And this is definitely no there. It also depends on the personal preferences. I mean, if you're someone who's making PvP 24/7 and you're really liking to make PvP, or you're really liking to get priest camped the 3 hours long, then yes, this is the way. This is the thing here. You can also gather a lot of materials that you can only gather in the jungle area, and transporting stuff from here to cities like Morinkur, Tindrem, Fabenum, Meduli, and many other cities, even Galcore. The materials are worth a lot. If you're selling the heavy carapace from here, the plate scales from here, or the ingredients you can just gather around this area here, even the bananas, even a stack of bananas is like 80 or 90 gold in Tindrem and stuff like that, then it's worth it a lot. The problem is the risk. The risk involved is very high, and you're very likely to die here, as same as you would die in the north in Galcore. So to our jungle camp, just for example. I mean, you have the whole south of the map, the southeast of the map, to farm everything you want. There's everything in here. Okay, not everything of course, but you have a lot of options. For example, you can make a round to the terror birds and the satyrs. You can go to the satyr camp. You can get yourself horses pretty fast here. You can farm the satyr camps. You can farm the west satyr camp, the east satyr camp. You can also farm shore prowlers and a lot of turtles and shit like that. And you can also go to the Sator dungeon, and there will be a new dungeon in the jungle anyway very soon. So this is a very high content area. It's not high end content, but it's a lot of content, very dense content, more or less. Not dense content, but more or less dense farming. And you also have dense resources. Dense resource is a much better thing. So you can also gather a lot of ingredients, and you also can farm a lot of stuff there. Of course, you will have a lot of people doing that. So without a guild, without a group, without anything, or without, I don't know, or even with a small group, it really depends on how territorial you play. I mean, if you spread it around the map, you probably won't make it. But if you're very close to the jungle camp, live there, being a very hardcore group contesting that jungle camp, then this could be awesome content. It could also be a worst nightmare because you're locking in there and getting pre-scanned for hours. That could also happen. So it very boils down to your own choice, your own preferences of playing the game. And what do you expect from the game, or what do you expect from that location particular? From a standpoint of TC, of territorial control, I mean, the keeps are not near the jungle camp. So from the Texas standpoint, it's okay. Later, when the ships will come to the game, and you can build a harbor down there in the south, and you can transport the resources up there and to the other towns, then okay, then it has a very different meaning. Then it's a very viable thing for territorial control. But currently, from a territorial control standpoint, it's like okay, content for players, awesome. Exactly like the North, you have a lot of content, a lot of stuff to do. It's very PvP heavy like the North. And for a new player, I wouldn't recommend going there in any way or form unless you like pain. And if you, for example, came from another game with five of your friends and stuff, and you're starting out, I don't know, in Bhakti or whatever stuff, and you're making trips to the jungle, and then you're building your own house here and playing here a little bit, this is awesome. This could also work out because the jungle is big enough for a lot of people. So getting horses is pretty easy. Getting any material here is pretty easy. Beside steel or tungsten and stuff like that, that is hard to get. But the other stuff, it's awesome. For a new player, farming, being there could be really fun. It's really fun. And it's also, it looks very beautiful. It looks wonderful. Compared with the ever snowing north that is really grinding on my eyes, and I want to rip them off, and I don't know. But from an end game perspective, there are no end game materials here. This is a little bit sad. There are end game alchemy materials here, but there's no end game fighting PvP materials here. You could also argue, okay, because of the potion making, then it's maybe also a little bit PvP related to end game. Yeah. I mean, if you compare it with other locations. But for Tabor, Beastmaster and stuff like that, the jungle is also a very awesome area because you can very fast get yourself a dominated terror bird or something like that, or stuff for necromants. And please also leave your opinion about the jungle camp, would be really awesome, by the way. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell. So special thanks to all the supporters, of course: Carmel, Professor Lukario, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Bulldog, Giovanni, Vargas, and all the others, of course. So never forget to make your jungle camp hard. I mean part yard. And see you all next time. Goodbye. And yeah, I forgot to mention, the sounds in the jungle are so annoying after a few hours. You need to turn off your sounds in the game because this is so annoying ambient sound of the same jungle stuff that is constantly playing each 10 minutes the same birds are making the same noises at the same exact time. It's driving your brain, it melts your brain.